One more. Right, Landcorp Farming's a state-owned enterprise, New Zealand's largest farmer, and our aim is to be a leading livestock farmer in the world. Don't take too much notice of the numbers there, although they are critical, and I'll talk about them later in my presentation. They're a little bit hard to pick up the dots on the map, but there's 122 different farms that we own and manage up and down the country, from north of Kaitaia to the Te Anau Basin and everywhere in between. We're a commercial organisation. We pay a dividend, we pay taxes, we borrow money from the same banks that you do. We get no handouts or... One of the things I'm just going to touch on are where some of the uses I see or we see for high speed broadband. One of these is around individual animal recording, and it's a common misconception that a herd of cows or a group of sheep running around are all just like peas in a pod, and that couldn't be further from the truth. If I had more time and a greater slide allocation, I'd show us a favourite slide I've got of two cows grazing contentedly, chewing their cud, and to all intents and purposes there's no difference in the output of those animals. But through the use of some of the technologies that we're starting to work with, one of those cows is $670, earns us $670 more than her cohort standing next to us. We run 52,000 dairy cows just on our complex, so you can do the maths and work out how valuable those animals can become. And just by knowing that there are differences, what gets measured gets managed. So the more measurement you can do, the more you can influence things. There's a number of initiatives coming on stream that require individual animal recording. One is a national initiative called NAIT, or the National Animal Identification and Tracing Scheme. For all cattle and deer, shortly that will be a requirement that all those movements are monitored, so that we can prove to our customers that we're farming safe and healthy animals. Another initiative which you may or may not have heard of is through the Primary Growth Partnership, which is an initiative with the government and other partners. We're closely involved in one with the government and Silver Fern Farms called Farm IQ, and it's a seven-year project, but to be honest, it won't work unless we've got good connectivity on those farms. We need to be able to get and give more information about our animals. Location intelligence really just refers to knowing where animals, plant assets, people are in terms of a geospatial way. So in other words, where they are on a map. And a lot of our troops increasingly are plotting where the mobs of animals are and the individuals that make up those mobs. They would really love a live map. They can point and click and say, I'm now moving this mob. Slide it just like David did to his iPad there just before, slide it across, drop them into the next paddock, and they've got a record of the physical action they've just taken to move those animals, rather than have to come home, keep a diary, manage all that manually. So the other uses, of course, are our people in our community. It's a great value proposition for us. We need good quality people out on farm. To be able to say, well, you come and work for us, we can give you and your children the access you've been used to in town, or that your cousins and other people that you know have in the urban centres. And of course, we Landcorp work in all the communities that Liz talked about. There's a whole range of activities that we need to keep people engaged with to be part of those communities. One of the other things that Landcorp does is we have some small subdivision areas of high value land that's got a higher and better use than farming. last week we just launched a new subdivision on the market on the edge of Lake Manapuri, Motorau Heights, if I can get a small dig in, have a look at it. But one of the points I wanted to make here was that I had a ring from a guy in Malaysia who was born in Manapuri. He's been away for 15 years running a company in Malaysia, wants to come back home, wants to get a bit closer to mum and dad. And he said, I can keep running my company, but I need fast access. Can you give me that? And I said, well, you buy a section and I'll see what I can do. But I know that it's a struggle because, you know, for any of you that have travelled any distance out of Auckland into our countryside, you know that we have a different sort of geography out there that provides its challenges. What I'm really talking about, and this is something we're accumulating more and more, the more you measure individual animals' characteristics, you start to collect layers of information. And the more you can collect those in real time and interrogate them through some form of real-time decision support, the more valuable you can make your activity on farm. Typically, you bring a group of animals in and you weigh them or check them or do something, and you wonder, I wonder if I should split this mob that way or this way and just see how I can get the things working better. If that, and you let them go way back out into the hills, you come home that night and you crunch all the numbers in a spreadsheet and you go, right, I should have done that and that. Whereas if we can work towards a scenario where that decision support is in near real time, then we can actually make those decisions and make some more money along the way. And that decision support, we talked about gaming before lunch. You know, that decision support could equally be a scenario modelling game. It sounds crazy in a farming sense, but we've had that discussion amongst ourselves. Some of the challenges, I won't dwell on these because I'll put them all up. They've been talked about a little bit, but the industry approach is, I think, largely being solved. We've in past years when we've had solutions that, oh, we can't do that for you because there isn't that infrastructure there, but we can do it over here for you, and that links into availability. If we've got 122 farms, we want an industry approach that provides the infrastructure, and the value proposition is about what else we can do for you here. So it's like it's as simple as a phone line, and then you want to be able to get on with the job. Speed is the faster is better. When we first launched about 5 years ago with what I call probably baby broadband, you know, our guys thought, wow, this is fantastic, you know, and now as they've got more and more familiar with using the tools we're providing to them, they are getting increasingly hungry for faster and faster speeds. And look out, your phone will start ringing if the links go down and they go back to a dial-up speed. They really notice it. Geography I've talked about, but it's a huge challenge in New Zealand. Our hills don't lend themselves to we've got 700 houses on those farms. We're not going to get cable to them all. They're all up sort of nice, interesting, picturesque valleys, but bouncing radio waves around, and you know, we need a lot of creative solutions to get to those farms. So thank you. That was all I had.
And now